Round and round, what goes around comes around. I'll tell you why. Because JBR is back, that's why. Get your liquid courage, your herbal libations, and put the lock on the door. It's UFC 324 time, and you're tapped in to the Just Bleed Radio Preview Show. Now give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Ooh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are Just Bleed Radio, and this is the Preview Show! It's bleeding time!
Greetings and salutations, bleeders. How the hell are you? What a beautiful Sunday it is here in scenic Northeast Ohio. I am LazyBed, but you may have guessed that by now. This is a little channel called JBR, and we like to get together quite regularly to discuss anything and everything fist fighting. Today, we got a good one on the docket, so let me bring in my two crude dudes with attitudes. The first is my buddy from way back, a fan of the fight game since Ed Hardy tees and Von Dutch hats, Austin, aka No Special. How you living? How you feeling?
That's a great intro. Thank you. Good. I can't complain. Long weekend, but I'm really itching for these fights, man. I feel like a fucking fiend. Just need I fixed again.
Well, better to be itching for fights than to be itching because you got some sort of something else going on. Anyway, the second person here is my mate from an early date. I've known him so long that I knew him when he had white hair just because that's the shade of his fur, not because of his advanced age. DangerMouse, DM, what the fuck are you up to?
I've been arguing on the internet about SES reserve selection process. I've watched all 3 28 Days Later films. Just need to see Bone Temple now. Oh, and I watched a bunch of fights for this show. And I have a beer and I'm ready to go. Let's make some picks.
Right on. Well, yeah, I'm as ready as the both of you are. I'm as ready as I believe the listeners are. I think that we are all just ripping and rearing to get this thing going. So what do you guys say that we get right back on our bad motor scooters and ride, boys? Let's go. And we will kick this shit off with a welterweight matchup that most won't give a flying fuck about, but one that we'll be keeping a close eye on here at JBR, because it will be the very first fight of 2026 with fantasy draft points at stake. And up to bat will be former LFA welterweight and current Team DM draftee. I'm talking about Ty the Thriller Miller. He'll be making his official UFC debut after picking up a contract on this past year's Dana White's Contender Series. He's a kid that I, for one, have kept close eyes on for several years now. Dave, go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage right now of the flashback montage. Lastly, just to wrap up, a couple of quick props to some guys on the come up in LazyBed's Contender Series from the LFA show last night. First off, the Thriller Ty Miller, young fella, 24 years old, born and fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's a 6'2" welterweight, long and lanky, now 5-0. Had a beautiful 2-piece KO in the first round last night. Really fucking nice if you want to go back and check that out for any donks on Fight Pass. As you see there, the kid can crack. The kid is a fucking beast. That was a clip from this very channel back in June of 2024. Anyhow, he is ripe and ready at still only 25 years old. He is also 6-0 now as a pro and on a 9-fight win streak overall, with his only career loss coming as an amateur when he was just 17. Jeez. A great pull by Mouse on this selection here for the draft. I say that regretfully because standing across from him will be the 37-year-old Kendall knockoff, Adam Fugit. The Oregon native is 10-5 in his time as a pro, with 2 wins and 3 losses in the UFC. He was most recently TKO'd by Islam Dulatov in July of last year at UFC 318 in New Orleans. You might think I'd stray from passing the mic directly to the man with likely the most biased prediction in this scenario, but you would be wrong because we're going to DangerMouse first. This is, really a pretty tailor-made matchup for a debuting prospect being given Fuggin Fugit here, but your young slugger, Ty Miller Mouse, is known for having a stiff 1-2 combo, and Fugit has been finished in 3 of his last 4 losses. So I guess the question is less, who do you think wins, and more, how and when do you think he gets it done?
Yeah, I saw that little clip that you posted there. You've just shown everybody, and I went back and I did watch the Charleboy fight, and the finish is fantastic. He lands a left hook that turns Charleboy's head to the right, which turns it right into the right hook that's following it. He just absolutely folded that guy, and doesn't mess about either. Very quick on his follow-up strikes. I watched the fight with Bahus or Barros, depending on how you want to pronounce it. That poor guy was getting absolutely lit up with punches. Took a bit of an eye scrape, told the ref didn't see it, but told the ref, and that fight ended up getting stopped. And I think that Barros had just wanted out of that fight. And I mentioned that I watched also the one you mentioned against Islam Dulatov, the Chechen German fashion model, and that told me all I needed to know, that Fugit was getting constantly blasted with that straight right. And funnily enough, Miller, the Golden Gloves champion, actually has a very nice one too. Just ask Jimmy Draco. Yeah, Fugit, he just seems to be a bit of a gatekeeper at middleweight. I'm not sure what he's guarding, maybe the top 50, because he has fought and lost to some real names. Our friend of the channel, we like him a lot, Mike Malott, and also to Dave's 3rd round draft pick, Michael Morales. So yeah, unsurprisingly, I will be going with my 4th round draft pick on this one. Ty Miller, got to get this done inside a round. He's going to put Fugit away. He's going to send him flying. Time will fly in this one, but only for Fugit.
That's a first round finish. That's a bold prediction, but I can't really argue with you. I can't really say that I think you're wrong. So we're going to go to you second, Austin. Honestly, this looks to have the makings of what should be a very fun fight to open the very first card of the Paramount era. Neither of these fellas shy from squaring up and throwing down. And this will also answer a lot of questions about how you are going to make predictions this year, because this is your first opportunity to really go with your brain, or to say fuck logic and choose against Mouse's draft pick out of sheer spite. So, Ty Miller or Adam Fugit, who do you got and how do you got him?
Well, tell me if I'm wrong. Ty Miller is not the wrestling type. Like, judging by the amount of fights that he's had, he's just more of like the kickboxing striker that I am imagining him to be, and as the highlights are shown. Like, he's not usually looking to be on the ground, correct?
That's fair. Yeah,
he's very good. He's actually very good at getting up. The Barros guy was a jiu-jitsu guy, and he got him down a couple of times, and every time Ty Miller just stood up, got away from him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like he knows he's not looking to stay there. He knows how to defend it. He knows how to kind of fight his way back up, like you said. He's not going to keep the fight low or on the mat if he can avoid it. Like, he's going to find ways up or keep himself from getting into kind of precarious situations. Adam Fugit is, on the other hand, a guy who I kind of look at as like one of those generic creative fighter types. All right, give him a baseline of everything. He's not the best at striking. He's not the best at grappling. He's got somewhat decent cardio, but he's one of those guys who could get clipped. You know, like when you create a character in UFC, you know, balance is the kind of creator character you would say he is. And I don't foresee him being good enough to keep him on the mat, nor do I see him being good enough on the feet to get to avoid, like Mouse said, you know, from avoiding a 1-2, you know, straight down the pike. That's going to catch him. My heart says I want to say, you know, fuck you to Team DangerMouse, but my brain has to kind of go over on this one. I at the bare minimum, I want to just start off the year with one good pick, and then I could just say, fuck it, I'll go after every one of you guys after that.
Well, look at it this way: one by hook or by crook, one way or the other, I will be leading the draft at least for one fight in this. Maybe an hour or so, at least in this year.
Hey,
I'm
you know what? Yeah, take all the wins you can get.
I'm just dying here at the fucking people in the chat cracking on Ty Miller's shorts, making fun of him. It's killing me.
Like, hey, it's a generic, wrestle boxers. Why not?
Hey, box he can. He can most certainly box. To wrap this one up, I'll be short and sweet on this one with my selection. Just like Adam Fugett's night, it's going to be short and sweet. I agree with DangerMouse. Fugett is old, he's plodding, and Ty Miller is way too young and too fluid to not be able to connect with Fugett's chin. So I'll take Miller by KO. I guess to be different than Mouse, I'll go round 2. And yeah, I think that's a most likely scenario. So enjoy your fucking points, DangerMouse.
I will.
All right, let's keep it going. And next up, another one on our must discuss list. What do you say, Atiba Gautier? It's a middleweight beat 'em up, and this one will see the first action of 2026 for last year's fantasy draft champions, Team LB. That's me. What do you know? Oh, making making the long, slow, regretful walk to the octagon, set to compete in his 3rd UFC fight and meet his untimely demise. 10-3, 28-year-old Andre Puliev, my finger.
Oh God.
No small fry, the Russian, trained under the tutelage of Alexander Shlemenko, is a very, very solid choice of lamb to be sent to slaughter. The snarling, frothing, virulent beast waiting at the bottom of the bloodstained pit. 6'4" tall, 81 inches of wingspan, 8 career knockouts. My true #1 overall draft pick, the silent assassin, Atiba Gautier. Although, guys, I don't know why they call him that, because this motherfucker makes noise. He makes noise big time. And again, in an effort to save time, and because my choice is tremendously obvious, I shall go first. Easy money, easy points. Atiba is going to knock the head off of this fella's shoulders. So give me my man, the gargantuan Gautier, by resounding first round KO with a bonus. Woo-hoo!
Oh, fuck you.
And all right, next we will turn it over to No Special for him to have the first crack at daring to go against me. So, my friend, will you accept the inevitable and imminent result of Atiba popping Puliev's skull off his neck, or are you foolishly siding with the Russian?
You son of a bitch. Because there's a part of me that's like, you know what? I just want to be fucking like angry and just like just negative about your pick and just watch him fucking flounder against a Russian who's possibly going to wrestle him and keep the fight from being exciting. But I don't foresee that to be the case. Puliev has been knocked out and been handled by a very dangerous striker in Christian Dukin previously. He just got to win, so he knows how to win. I gotta think, man. Like, if you didn't take it from me, I would have been exactly like you. I would have been like, yeah, he fucking however he wants to in the first round. He will just fucking piss on the man and will win. He'll win. It's fine. Like he will gladly lay on his back and just say, I'm dead. I tap. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. But no, I think Atiba is gonna go out there and carry it to the end of the second, maybe, to try to implement like some brutish like grappling. But Puliev is that kind of guy who you kind of throw in there. He's a middleweight from Russia, and you're either supposed to be really good or questionable. And more often than not, they're good. He didn't show that in his first fight. He kind of showed up in the second fight. He might get a little bit more loose in the striking department, which might be scary. I don't foresee him kind of dying in the first round, though. I think he might might get carried to at least the second round. At the end of the second, maybe at the worst, like he gets carried to the beginning of the third. Atiba Gautier for sure. I can't say it's going to be a first round finish, but there's going to be a finish in it. And damn you for taking my fucking middleweight pick.
Yeah, this year I definitely got the best of the middleweight division. I must say that. Like, not even not even to be cocky about the whole thing, but I nailed middleweight, man. I really nailed it.
Oh my
And
god! I don't want to go through it again. You just like just have to say it. I have to fucking say it. Like the only fucking two middleweights that I ever wanted out of the fucking division, and he just takes them from me as if it was nothing to him. Like, oh god.
Yeah. And shout out to Jan Pol in the chat, a Russian, might I add, who is vehemently pointing out that she believes he, she, whatever Jan Pol is identifying as, believes that Atiba Gautier is a much superior wrestler to Andre Puliev. I would have to agree. And just look at the physiques on the two men. The difference in the physique. I mean, come on, like this is you got a beefcake versus a string bean, baby. All right. Anyway, that's enough about me waxing poetic about the physique of another man. So the final say in this middleweight melee will go to DangerMouse. DangerMouse, what do you think? Is this a foregone conclusion and a guaranteed 25 to 35 points in the bank for Team Bed? Or are you going with the underdog?
Yeah, he's not my pick, but I'm 100% behind Gautier on this one. He was on my draft shortlist too. But there's absolutely nothing short about Gautier. He's massive and he hits like a sledgehammer. As Austin just brought up the fight I've made a note of, that Christine Leroy Duncan was able to apply pressure and just back Puliev up. And I think Gautier is going to knock his block off. We are in a complete agreement on this one, Lazy. It's going to be a first round KO for Atiba Gautier. And I will happily take my tapology points on that one, and I will hope that we both get a fantastic knockout from our two fights. Are they both welterweights? Yeah, they are, aren't they? Both welterweights, yeah.
No, middleweight and welterweight.
Middleweight and welterweight. Sorry, my apologies.
Yeah. Either way, I think you are correct on that. And good plug there for the JBR Tapology League. If you haven't joined it, join it today before the upcoming UFC 324 event. Get in now while you still can. Get your picks in. The link for the JBR Tapology League is in the description for this very episode that you are listening to now. So go ahead and join that.
I'll just quickly jump in. The main card minute also has a Tapology League, which you might also want to join if you watch that show. And last year I missed the first event of the year and I came third. So if I hadn't missed the first event, I would have won that bloody league. That's my little gripe off my chest. Yeah. So I want to say don't miss out on the first event because I will not miss any events. I will guarantee that, barring severe illness or something.
Yeah, week after week on those Tapology updates during the main card minute watch longs, you were always just outside of that top spot.
Yeah.
All right, gents. Well, our third and final preliminary bout with direct implications for our fantasy draft. This one, a ranked scrap in the bantamweight division. On one side, coming to the cage just 3 months after his winning effort against Mario Batista, he is a 19-1, 30 years old, and he is the reserve selection of Team Dave, the number 2 ranked 135-pound men's fighter, Umar Nurmagomedov. His opposition is a former flyweight champion who has strung together a 4-2 record since making the step up to 135. That is Davison Figueiredo. Figgy also back from a 3-month hiatus after he snatched a split decision W from Montel Jackson. He'll look to stake his claim at the top of another division with a win over young Umar at UFC 324. That's a big opportunity for a once-upon-a-time champion against a man that many still feel is destined to hold gold, though there are some glaring differences between the two. I'll leave that for you two to point out, but DangerMouse, when Umar meets Figgy in the featured prelim of this debut Paramount event, who walks out victorious?
Yeah, I know you can never rule out Davison Figueiredo. He's a dangerous guy, but he's getting on in years. I think he's like 38. Yeah, 38. And this is bantamweight. And being 38 and a bantamweight is never a good thing. So I think unless Umar has an absolute disaster, he's going to get what will probably be a fairly boring decision win, and he will earn a few points for Dave's reserve fighter. And I don't really have much to say on that. Much else saying. The only possible chance is that Davison lands a few strikes, and for once the judges ignore a lot of the grappling if there's no action when it's taking place on the ground. If Umar doesn't attempt subs or attempt ground and pound, then maybe Davison could steal a win that way. But yeah, I will be picking Umar Nurmagomedov by decision for this one.
Mouse, do you think, just a quick follow-up, do you think that, Davison, when he was down at 125, he was known for having some pop and some real power on his punches and the ability to put guys away. Do you think that power has carried with his move up to 135? Do you think he has the chance of, at least a puncher's chance of putting Umar out?
Yeah, there's always a puncher's chance. I know no one's ever knocked Umar out. He's only has that one loss to Merab, so I'm guessing he has a bit of a chin on him. But maybe that's because he just takes people down and doesn't get punished very often. So yeah, Davison has a chance. If you're a gambling man and you like outside chances, by all means, waste some money on Davison Figueiredo.
Yeah, that's just something I was curious about and I've kind of been thinking about. But good point here by Jan Pole, actually, from the chat. Thank you, Dave, for bringing this up. Why is this fight not higher? This fight, I get back in the day in the ESPN and the pay-per-view era, being the featured prelim was kind of a big deal because you were the last fight that led people into the pay-per-view. You were the last fight on the free event. So that featured prelim spot was a big deal. But we're out of that now. We are, for most countries, no longer in a pay-per-view era. So it seems kind of strange to not have such a highly ranked fight with title implications on the line, not at least be on the main card. I sort of thought when the shakeups with these fights went down and Kayla and Amanda fell off, that they would elevate this fight to the main card, but instead they just went with, instead of a 6-fight main card, a 5-fight main card. So interesting choice there. I don't know about you guys. Yes or no? Do you think that this fight should have been main card?
Yes. It's title implications for either man.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
I would agree. Okay,
it's
so
maybe the fact that maybe Dana and the people who, the UFC think it was likely to be quite a dull fight, so that's why they haven't put it up there.
It could very well be. That is always a possibility. But yeah, let me just slot in the middle here and give my my prediction, so we can leave the last say to the panel member who allowed Umar to leave his team this year. Not that that's a bad thing. That's not a remark on that. You tell me. But like I mentioned before, this fight has a lot of glaring differences, and I'm looking namely at the size and the age differences here. But what I really think this one comes down to is willingness. And what do I mean by that? I namely mean Davison's willingness to fight off of his back. Once Umar figures out that if he puts Figueiredo on his back, he's going to stay there. Figgy's going to be cooked, chat. Figgy is going to be cooked. So give me cousin Umar by decision, regretfully, because that's points for Dave's reserve. But anyway, that leaves only Austin to speculate on the results of this one. The first opportunity for Dave's 2026 fantasy draft bench fighter to start banking them points. So who picks up the win? No special. How does Dave's little Nepo baby Umar get it done?
Oh yeah, all right. It's got to be through a kickboxing game that allows opportunistic takedowns. That's how he works. He's not like your overall heavy indulgent in the grappling, because he's like his brother Usman. They are kickboxing centric, kind of like how Islam kind of mixes the martial arts, so to speak, like Alexander Kaylee used to say, or doesn't like, I should say. He's better at the striking acumen than most people give him credit for. And if you look at their last 2 fights, Umar faced the Mario Batista, and he basically had to kind of scramble to use his kickboxing and opportunistic grappling to kind of take advantage of the loopholes in Batista's game. That got him the win. And if you look at Davison Figueiredo, he's like a slightly smaller, slightly better version of Mario Batista, but he lacks in the striking acumen. And if you look at his last fight against Montel Jackson, the only reason why he won against Montel is because Montel couldn't move forward. Umar can at least move forward and keep the counter striking going, and then supplement that with opportunistic takedowns. He knows how to avoid damage when necessary. He knows how to get takedowns when he needs them, and he can keep the fight standing if he has to. Like he's got the weaponry to keep Davison Figueiredo like on the back foot, or at least avoid what Davidson's best weapon is, which is like a fucking uppercut and an overhand right, and then like power submissions. Like he is a better version of what Davison Figueiredo can be, and he's nowhere near getting old or damaged yet. And unfortunately, Davison is kind of like, he got lucky with his last fight getting the win. But there's no way I take a unanimous decision from Umar in this fight. It goes all three. Umar just kind of makes it look simplistic, and I don't think Davison has what it takes to beat him. Although, if you're a betting man and you watch, the CME co-main event podcast, if you ever heard of $20 you never want to see again, that would be one. That would be one to put it on Davison right there. The odds are insane. So
yeah, I mean that's not a bad shot, because when you look at the guy and you take a look at his pedigree and the amount of high-profile fights that he's been in, 5-round wars, a 3-rounder here against a guy who has never realized championship gold. I could see factors why somebody might want to throw a couple bucks on the Figueiredo side, but as you can see on the screen here, if anyone has any quick questions on a prelim that we have not mentioned, feel free to go ahead and ask it now. We'll take just a couple of brief moments before we do move to the main card to wait to see if anyone has anything to say. But if they do not, that will be our the closing of our preliminary coverage for this UFC 324 event. Quite a bit of a factor, Dave. I do believe Dave says, how much will age play a factor into Umar versus Figgy? How can it not? I mean, we all know the statistic, the 35 and over stat at the lower weight classes, which has kind of been disproven in recent times. DJ disagrees. He's about that much, Dave, about that much. I think it's going to play a decent little factor. What do you guys think? 8 years difference, 30 to 38. Is it going to be a factor?
I already said it. I already said that, him being 38 is not a good thing at bantamweight. So I'll let Austin, if he wants to add anything, he can do.
Well, that's the thing. He was already older as a flyweight, and he was still capable of making himself a champion. Although he did have a hard weight cut, and that's half the reason why he came back or came up to bantamweight, which I believe he should have done like after the second loss to Brandon Moreno. Because he had troubles at flyweight, always making weight. The hardest part for him at bantamweight, at flyweight, was making the weight and staying healthy. Him at bantamweight, he had an injury against Corey Sandhagen, right? Again, and a knee. I forget if it was like a tendon or whatnot, but still, like, he was able to bounce back. He's not cutting nearly as much weight, and he seems to be healthy. I don't think his fight. I don't think he's getting better. He's definitely going to fall off fairly soon if he hasn't already. But he's at worst a top 10 bantamweight. That's not that's not nothing. And at bantamweight, these guys can all beat each other. That's the thing. That's why I said it's like, if you're a betting type, this is a fight you could put money on, and it's almost Umar should win. The odds are insane, but it's likely that he can pull away a round or two. It's not impossible for him to get the upset.
I absolutely agree. Dave, go ahead and bring that question from Jampol up again real quick. I believe that was in reference to Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas. We did not cover that, but I think Russian hearts are going to continue bleeding for Nikita, because I'm pretty sure Bukauskas, with the way he's looked in his last couple of fights, it seems like he's kind of turned his career around from the shaky start that he had early in his UFC run to kind of now being solidifying his place amongst the 205-pound division. So I'm pretty sure Bukauskas probably smokes poor Nikita Krylov. Yes or no, guys?
Yes, I've been a bit of a fan of Modestas. He's been, I think, taking a lot of influence from Tomas Spinell's how you take training seriously and how you live the life of a champion kind of thing. So yeah, Modestas for me.
Austin, you agree?
Yeah, it's got to be Modestas, only because of the last two performances from each man, and it's not looking good for Nikita at all.
Yeah, no, not at all, to say the least. I think, Modelo Bukaki is going to take this one home. All right, yeah. So we got to continue on now, because the time clock is ticking. Before we got a place to be in just a little bit here. But before we do continue on and jump from the appetizers to the entrees, prelims to the main card, we need you guys to do just one thing. If you're enjoying the program, give this video a like, and if you could, go ahead and share it, because the more people that see us, the more opportunities that we have to create new content here at the channel. So pound the thumb, ring the bell, sub to JBR. Woo! Woo, woo. All right, let's go, baby. It's main card time, and what will unfortunately still be pay-per-view time for a couple of different parts of the world, namely Canada and Australia. Sorry, guys, but not me. It couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. But fellas, for this main card opener, we stick with a running theme: bouts with 2026 fantasy draft points at stake. Honestly, though, this is one that I'd be lasered in on regardless of personal investment, because we have ourselves a dogfight, boys. After 18 months away from the game, the Almighty returns, and he's looking to immediately inject himself back into the zeitgeist of the featherweight division. No stranger to long layoffs, but surely no fan of them either. Number 6 ranked Arnold Allen has been bitten by the injury bug many times in his MMA career. And now 31 and still sporting a relatively clean 20-3 record, the Englishman desperately needs to keep himself healthy and active if he hopes to realize UFC gold. Equally hungry and similarly autistic is his opponent, a lord from Sao Paulo, who is barking mad and coming off of a fruitful 2025. The rabid dog of the fighting nerds, Team LB holdover, and reigning fantasy draft MVP, he is Jean Silva. Now, after suffering a disappointing loss at the hands of Diego Lopez in September, Lord Gene will undoubtedly be looking to take a chomp out of Almighty Allen's Tesco meal deal. It would appear that either of these men are seemingly within striking distance of a title opportunity. We keep saying that with these fights, with an impressive performance anyhow. But Austin, they may each encounter hurdles along the way. Silva, if Diego Lopez somehow manages to defeat Volk in their upcoming bout, and Allen, if he can't keep his body from breaking down. So come Saturday to kick off the first main card of Paramount, or on the Paramount network, who do you think gets it done?
Well, first off, fuck your team, and I'm gonna go with Arnold Allen, because here's where I get this fight in my head. John Silva got into his emotions, got into his feels, was smelling his own farts and drinking his own Kool-Aid in his last fight. Like, he was all about, like, yeah, no, I got taken down. I got beaten up in the first round by Diego Lopez. And then I started, landing hammers on him. And then I forgot, oh, yeah, if he can counter me if I just keep walking into him. So I'm still going to do that. And sure enough, like, fucking ate this incredible fucking spinning back elbow and then got finished immediately after that, right? Like, he has had a habit of just kind of playing into the dangerous part of his opponent's game, not because he's believing to be better at it. He just doesn't give a shit. And that's like the craziest part about John Silva, is that he is a fucking little psychopath. Like, he's like that dude where you're like, oh, we should probably go inside because he's out right now. and I like how he fights. I like his ability to kind of like fight through adversity or just bulldoze through his opponents if he has to. But that can lead to a lot of issues, especially as you get up into the rankings. Like, he's not the best fighter in the division, but he's one of the most dangerous fighters in the division. And then he had a taste of his own medicine. So does that change how he fights? Does that make him more a dangerous fighter because now he doesn't give a fuck? Who knows? I have yet to see the John Silva after a loss inside the UFC, and it's going to be interesting to see that. Do I bet on him? No, absolutely not. One, because he's on your team, so fuck you. Two, I have more faith in Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen has been consistent most of his UFC run. Like, he was on a fucking 8-fight win streak in the division for like a good couple of years. And, they put him up against Max Holloway too soon. That it is what it is. It's unfortunate. I hated that matchup to begin with. And then they put him up against a really good test in Mozar Evloev back to back. So he could have won against Max Holloway, unfortunately didn't. I didn't think he necessarily won. I thought he had a good showing. But he also was very capable and competitive with Mozart Evloev, probably the best featherweight who should be fighting for the featherweight fucking title instead of Diego Lopez. Sorry, I had to say that. But he gave him a run for his money. And despite the injuries, he has never wavered, and he's been consistent as a really good and competitive featherweight. And I think he's going to come back, and he got to win over Giga Chikadze, who's not an easy fighter to fight. And I think if he plays his cards right, I think he could take a decision against John Silva. He has to play it safe in the beginning, and he has to kind of wear him down, but I think he can do it. I got faith in Arnold Allen, and I will never go for John Silva because he's on your team.
God, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. Not just for coming at me like that, but because that was a damn good fucking breakdown, and you made some really good points there. That was spot on. You said a lot of really, I think, sharp things, and this was already a tough fight for me to pick, honestly, and now it's gotten even tougher after hearing your breakdown there, Austin. Good job. But yeah. I'm going to go second again here. Yeah, I'm going to go second again here. Let Mouse go last so I can catch my breath in between fights. But tough fight to pick because, one, I like AA. I like Arnold Allen because he's a very cool guy. He's a fun follow online. I've shouted out his tweets before on here. Like, he's a really funny dude, down to earth, seems like and he doesn't come across like an idiot. He's not some kind of an asshole. So you have all that. And then you also have everything that Austin just pointed out. So it's hard not to like Arnold Allen. Now, the problem is he never fights. And draft picks aside, I'm going to side with the active party 90% of the time. Activity is one of the best things in mixed martial arts. Having an active schedule that you've been on and an active rotation that you've been going through, that's very important because, as we all know, reps in the practice realm, reps in the gym are far different than actual minutes within the cage under the bright lights. It's a different animal. It's a different game. So you could be training, you could be rolling with your buddies in the gym and shit like that. And when you get in there on fight night, it's a whole different thing. So I'm usually always going to favor activity over inactivity. Now, the other part of this is, again, something Austin touched on. My worry is that Silva plays around too much. Allen can take sometimes too long to get going, but if Silva is fucking around the whole time, that's not going to matter. It's not going to matter if Arnold has a slow start. So I have to take my boy Gene here to win a decision, but it could get risky. It could be dicey business, and we may end up seeing a surprisingly methodical fight. As crazy as it seems like that could be, I think this one could be a bit methodical. So we'll see how it plays out. But give me Jean by decision. And I'm also interested to find out which way you lean, DangerMouse, because we know that you like to side with your countrymen when possible, but there's a lot of hesitation when it comes to picking somebody like Allen. Like we've been covering, he's not durable, he's not active, he's not exactly a known finisher, but Silva, again, has proven himself to be a bit of a jackass who can make terrible decisions in a fight, and he's on my squad. So who do you have winning this featherweight fight? What do you got?
Well, unlike you, I think this is actually a very good chance. This is fight of the night because these are two guys that do just like to throw strikes. I don't think we're going to see a lot of wrestling. Maybe some grinding up against the cage. I don't know. Austin was very persuasive, I must admit there. But when I was thinking up a team for the draft, I was thinking of doing an all-UK team or maybe throwing a couple of Commonwealth fighters in it. And I looked at Allen and I saw this fight, and then I seriously began to reconsider my options. And it's not that I don't think Allen can't win. I think he has every chance. And in fact, when I looked at the odds, I was quite surprised to see how big a favourite John Silva is. I guess the inactivity that you both mentioned is part of it. And also, with a bit of further research, I noticed that Arnold Allen is a southpaw. So I thought, I wonder how John Silva does against southpaws. Yeah, he's fought 5 and he's finished them all. He is the southpaw killer. He literally
That's a nice stat.
Yeah. I was amazed when I looked at it. We'll presume that Grok's got it right. If someone wants to call me out, it's blame Grok. But And as you mentioned, Lazy, the combination of Alan being English and Silver being your your holdover first pick does make me really want to pick Alan, but I don't do patriotic or anti-draft picks. So I think I'll be going with Silver, but cheering for Alan. I don't mind if I lose this pick. And if the odds sharpen up or Silver happens to look terrible at the weigh-in, I might switch to Alan. But for now, Silver.
Mm.
Decision, I think, probably, though. I don't think Arnold Allen is going to
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. That's I was going to say.
Yeah. The only reason I said that I think it could potentially be a methodical fight is because sometimes when you have two guys that you feel are almost destined to just stand in there and bang, it ends up going the opposite way for whatever reason. Like we've seen it happen a lot of times. I hope you are correct. I hope you're correct. And again, I'll say a lot of really good points being brought up here by producer extraordinaire Super Dave from the chat, from our viewers, but we are on a bit of a time crunch, so I'm not going to address any of the chat. We are just going to move along to the next fight. In that next fight, my dudes, when it comes to bouts of consequence in both the UFC and the JBR fantasy draft, I want more. I want more. So that's exactly what we are getting. We're getting a matchup that very much matters for the women's flyweight division and for Team Dave and Chaudhry. Number 2 ranked 125er and Dave's holdover selection from last year, Natalia Silva, is back in action for the first time in 2026 as she looks to continue her championship trajectory. Excuse me. A little background on Natty Ice, a 19-5-1 record overall, 28 years of age, soon to be 29. She is actively on a 13-fight win streak and hasn't lost since meeting Marina Rodriguez in Thunder Fight all the way back in 2017. Silva will look to strike a decisive blow for little boys who hate taking baths, shaggy dogs, teens with unkempt hair, and really anyone against grooming when she locks horns with Pat's favorite fuzzy little berry, thug Rose Namajunas. Unlike Pat, who still hasn't put a ring around the rosy, Namajunas last entered the ring, or octagon, in June of last year when she won a forgettable decision over Miranda Maverick. Despite the birth certificate saying 33 years old and the haircut saying 7 3/4, Rose has seen years of wear and tear on her body and likely feels much older than Pat would like her to. And so I ever so gracefully pass it to you, Danger. Usually in MMA, the young eat the old. Now I know Rose would like to reverse that trend here. However, if anyone can stick with the statistics, it would seem to be Silva, who appears to have forgotten how to lose. Do you think Rosebud will bloom once again, or will she be deflowered by Super Dave's nasty natty?
That was very risque there, Lazy. I don't have a huge amount to say on this fight. I think it's points for Dave in all likelihood because I think Natty Ice gets it done. Probably a decision because she hasn't had a finish since 2023. But get ready for some ahs when she starts throwing punches because she loves that. She does have great defense. She has great cardio. She keeps her speed and her movement over 3 rounds. I watched it. I forget which fight it was. I watched the last one, and she just constantly circled the cage, going sideways, that sideways step, and then stepping in occasionally to throw a kick or whatever, a punch. As for Rose, she isn't exactly old, but she's older. And unlike Bourbon, I don't think she's improving with age.
That's good. That's a good one.
It could be quite an entertaining fight if these two let their hands and feet fly. And I think Rose might be able to take a round, but I don't think she'll win the fight. So I'm hoping for an actually entertaining women's MMA fight in this one. Please don't just take it to the ground and roll around on there. But yeah, so a straight decision win for Natalia Silva.
Which will mean points. Although small points, it will still mean points for
solid 15 points for Dave, I think. There.
Yeah, that it will. All right, so Austin, number 2 meets number 6. What looks like a title shot up for grabs and a possible 35 points on the line for Dave and Chaudhry. Do they bank some bucks, or does Team Pat add another young woman to his list of victims.
Oh, God damn it, Lazy. You son of a bitch. I had a point. I lost it. I got it back. Okay, all right. Here's the thing, man. This is a trap fight for Natalia. Like, if it was the other way, like if Rose was on a win streak, 4 or 5 fights in, and on her way to the title, not having fought anybody previously that put a loss on her, I would say this is Rose fight to lose. But this is Natalia's fight to lose, and I think, despite being older, she's 33. She's been in the game, former champion. Rose has been competitive with a lot of the girls at flyweight, and again, she's only lost to the best of the division. Now, if you're contrasting that to Natalia Silva, she has a win over a former champion in Alexa Grasso. But if you remember, Alexa Grasso just kind of deteriorated as a champion. She upsets Valentina, then gets into a very questionable draw in their second fight, and then looks like absolute shit in their third fight, and then in the 2 subsequent fights. So there's no upside to beating Grasso when she did. Did she look great against her? Absolutely. But that doesn't tell me anything. It just says, oh, she beat a girl who was formerly capable and now is no longer capable. Will she be capable again? Who knows? Natalia is a good fighter. Natalia has faced some decent competition. She has faced nowhere near the competition that Rose has. Not saying that she can't beat Rose. I just think this is a trap fight, and I'm going to take Rose by split decision because I think she can nab a couple of moments and even a round. All she needs to do is find the footing against Silva and just not let her take the entirety of the fight away from her. If she wins moments, she will win the fight. That's it. That's just the way it's going to go. Is she doesn't need to win all the rounds. She doesn't even need to win the majority of those rounds. She's just going to find moments to win the round away from Natalia, and that's when she's going to get the split decision. I don't think she needs to knock her out. I don't think she needs to get a unanimous decision win. She's just going to take small moments, and that's going to be the last thing the judges are going to remember. Natalia is good, well-rounded, but so is Rose. So I'm going to take Rose by split decision.
I like it. I think you, again, made some very good points there. I don't even know if you needed that notebook because I think that was coming directly from your heart, Austin. I feel like that came straight from your heart. Let me give my take here because, again, we're rattling on as we tend to do. Speaking of little moments was a good mention there because Rose is very good at taking little moments, small moments. I think you said small moments. She's very good at taking small moments. Pat is very good at taking little women. So that moves me right into my take here. It really comes down to which Rose shows up, right? That's what it always comes down to. That's the question in this fight, and that's the question in every Rose fight. Has Mr. Berry gotten in her ear and convinced her that defense is the key to winning? Or whatever other cockamamie scheme that he's come up with. Did she forget to make his eggs? Did she forget to make his eggs over medium this morning instead of over easy? And now she's a ball of mental turmoil. Who's to check? Who's to check? God. We don't know. But at the end of the day, guys, we all know that she's the biggest basket case in the UFC. She is. That being said, the key to defeating Natalia Silva is matching her footwork. And if Namajunas has anything, she has quick-moving, boyish feet. So, again, like you, Austin, give me the underdog here. I think that Natty Ice is going to find herself regretting taking this fight when she should have just waited. She should have waited because she probably was going to get a title shot. So I think Rose leaves 324 with a majority decision win. Not even a unanimous decision. I think that she walks away with a majority decision because, like you mentioned, it's just going to be those small moments. So, yeah, give me Rose.
Cool.
Octopus here riding with Natalia Silva all the way in every way until it falls off. Squirt, squirt, Octo wave. I feel you, Octo. You're not the only one. Rose hasn't beat anybody good in over 4 years. Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Pretty true.
There's a dirty joke in there, but I'm not going to make it.
Against Manel.
Yeah, those Zhang fights were a while ago. They were indeed a while ago. But, you know, hey, man, Rose wins when you least expect her to. That's kind of the Rose Namajunas game plan. So,
True.
but hey, for time's sake, again, we must continue on, guys. I'm sorry. I would love to talk about these two all day because I'm enjoying making these jokes, but we have to continue on. So, from a small, or excuse me, sorry, I'm still thinking about the last one. From small, fresh-smelling ladies with boyish charm, to big, stinky men who likely have trouble properly wiping themselves. That's right. I smell a peculiar smell, and it's a mix of musky ass crack and salty sea breeze. It must be fighting pirate Waldo Cortez Acosta, proudly displaying his number 5 ranking in the heavyweight division. He is also the number 7 selection for Team Austin. Waldo is Waldo is 9-2 in the UFC, and obviously coming off of an impressive 2025 where he competed 5 times. Draft points won't come without risk, though, because for WAC to swim to victory, he's going to have to wade through the most dangerous waters in UFC history, the ones inhabited by the Black Beast, Derek Lewis. He is the most prolific KO artist in the company's 33 years of existence. 16 unfortunate men that he has sent to hell. Despite being 40 years old, Lewis has entered his last 2 fights in career physical shape, and the record reflects it with 2 consecutive wins. I'm going to give my thoughts first and keep them brief so I can leave most of the meat on the bone for you two. Derek Lewis is a human anomaly. He's built like a truck. He hits like a truck. He's not a sports car or something flashy, but rather he's all about brute strength and horsepower. Waldo is also a truck, but he's more of a Humvee or some kind of Baja rally truck. He's built for a little more of a broad-ranging approach. Few more tricks up the sleeve than the Ram 1500 that is Derek. Derek's truck also has a sweet spot like the back end of a Ford Pinto. It doesn't like to be hit. And so, not that Waldo won't get hit, but I think he's the more willing of these 2 men to be hit. I can see WAC walking through the danger zone and putting one on Lewis's chin that makes him question things and gets him out of there. So give me Waldo Cortez Acosta by KO. And I will say round number 1. Fuck it. Round number 1.
That's dangerous. I love it. Oh, shit.
I'm going with my beliefs this year and my feels and the vibes. I'm not picking against other guys' draft picks just because I want to win. This is what I truly believe. All right. So, one bloke with a closer eye on this, not for draft reasons, but for fandom's sake, will be our own DM. Gone are the days when Tommy Aspinall captained Team Danger, but I know he still holds a place in your heart. So perhaps this battle of possible future opponents has piqued your interest. Give us your prediction, DangerMouse.
Yeah, I hadn't given it much thought to what was coming after it. I hope that this will be a very quick fight because I don't need 15 minutes of 2 walruses crashing against each other on the floor. And Derek Lewis is very capable of turning a fight into that at times. Fortunately, either of these guys is very capable of separating the other one from their consciousness in the blink of an eye and sending the other guy to the land of wind and ghosts to lately appear, to in the future appear on a Mojahead Fujilat video. Floating up to join Ben Askren and shouting, "You suck, Adam!" Roasted. Yeah, both guys on a 2-fight winning streak, but only one of them's 40. And I know age doesn't matter quite so much at heavyweight, but even Derek does catch up eventually. And like Lazy, I think Acosta's going to get this done via a KO in round 1. Short and sweet, unlike either of these 2 guys.
The 2 of us in consensus, and I see the chat talking about my truck references there. I'll have you know that JBR is built Ford tough, guys. We're built Ford tough. I'm a fucking idiot. Okay, all right. We will continue to press forward on our countdown to extinction, and on the endangered species list this time is a once beloved bantamweight who finds himself in desperate
I didn't give a take.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
he didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's probably because I didn't think you
Lazy's desperate
deserved
to go to
one.
Submission Radio.
Oh, fuck
Yeah.
you.
I didn't think you deserved one. All right.
Well,
Well,
whatever.
okay. Let me move back. Let me back. Sadly, I guess that means no special. Me and Danger Mouse seem to agree that this is a minimum of 25 points for you. So, what do you got to say? What do you think? I personally would like the Black Beast to win because, much like Mike Heck, I think it would be great to have Derek Lewis fighting for a heavyweight title at the White House, but I don't see that happening. So, what do you see, Austin? Tell the world. What do you think about this fight?
Okay, I think Waldo Cortez Acosta gets poked in the eye again, and I think Derek Lewis fakes getting poked in the eye, and then they subsequently drop each other in the first round. Nobody wins exactly. I think it's going to be a close round, and then they end up going into the second round where Waldo fakes being hurt or poked in the eye, one of the two. Derek Lewis tries to pounce on him, and then Waldo proceeds to knock him out. And I think that's going to be a second round knockout for Waldo because that's just the shenanigans he pulls. He's going to pull a Derek Lewis on Derek Lewis where he's going to fake being hurt and he's going to kill Derek Lewis because Derek Lewis is like, I must get to the title fight because I don't know how much longer I could do this. Thus crushing Mike Heck's dreams for a championship fight with Derek Lewis.
Oh, I'm glad we went back to you for that take because that was pretty good. Yeah, I'm glad we went.
Yes, I think he's gonna win. I don't know about you guys. I think he's gonna win.
Hey,
I think Derek is one of the guys who's happily said he'll happily cheat in a fight if necessary.
Yes, he has. Yeah, he said he has and prior and will continue to. So,
Yeah. Which is why he should lose.
Right. Well, like I always say, it time now to continue the countdown to extinction, and this time on the endangered species list is a once beloved bantamweight who now finds himself very desperate indeed for a win and an ego boost. No, it isn't a great blue heron or a bald eagle, though this protected species is known for his bird brain. Instead, it's a yellow-bellied O'Malley who guys, I just looked this up. A yellow-bellied O'Malley happens to be a colorful swallow who sings his song, Jay the Peen, Jay the Peen, Jay the Peen. He hasn't won a fight in nearly 2 years after suffering back-to-back championship losses to Marab, the most recent last June. And on top of everything, he is now teasing possible retirement with a third loss in a row. For his sake, let's hope he's been cranking them out left and right between bong rips because abstinence did not work in his last few fights. And he is in for a long night of jousting with a young virile Yadong that is just chomping at the chomping at the bit. Yes, Yadong song Yadong. Where have you been hidden? We've been waiting so long. How long exactly? Damn near a year. That's how long it's been since Song last competed and won, kinda, when he finger banged the weary eye of now retired little Henry Rottencrotch. Nonetheless, a 22-8-1, that is 11-3-1 in the UFC, and somehow a mere 28 years old after all this time. DangerMouse, for O'Malley, the man who has already reached the mountaintop, a loss could mean missing the final available foothold before sliding so far from the peak that the pinnacle falls entirely out of his sight. On the other hand, a win could very well set him up perfectly for a rematch against his old foe and current bantamweight champion, Petr Yan. At UFC 324, who do you think wins this co-main event?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that no one chose Sean in the draft. Because as long as he does beat Song, he has the potential of being gifted another title shot by Uncle Dana and co. Because new champ Petr Yan may want to try and get that loss back. And let's face it, the UFC has been known to give champions their wishes in fights like this. Michael Bisping, for instance. So yeah, a perfect comeback fight for Sean after the 2 losses to Marab. Should be a stand-up battle. For all that I hate his face tattoos and clown hair, I'll never say that Sugar Sean isn't a good striker. And I think that Sean O'Malley is going to be hungry for a win, and he knows that if he can pull off a flashy finish, the belt is right there in his scope. Song has been KO'd before. Sean, I know you were talking about age difference there, about Yadong being young, but Sean is just entering his prime, technically speaking. And he also has that 5-inch reach advantage that stat that I love that so often proves lethal. So I think O'Malley's going to get it done. And at the moment, I'm not confident enough to decide if it's going to be a KO or a decision. But I think Sean will come out of this one the winner.
Yeah, I think that that's kind of the thought of most people. I don't think a lot of people are giving Song much of a chance, which is kind of sad because Song is really a guy. He's been around the block. As you see in the graphic there, both these guys debuting around relatively the same time, which is hard to believe that O'Malley has been in the UFC that long, too. A couple of vets, really. But anyway, I guess that just means, Austin, it's time for you to go now. And what I would like to do here is I would like to pose my dong to you on the side. Or, God damn it. I mean, I would like to pose the yadong side to you, rather. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. Anyways, should the tender young sprout that is Song find a way to drop the mallet on O'Malley, doesn't he now find himself in the title talks himself as a fresh matchup for Petr Yan? Am I crazy to think that? But either way, give us your thoughts on that. Like, if with a big win, does Song find himself in title talks? And then give us your prediction.
Well, interesting enough, both these men have faced Petr Yan, if you recall, I think. And he beat Yadong. I should say Yadong got beat, but neither here nor there. The thing about this fight is, the only thing that kind of plays in my mind is when Song faced Corey Sandhagen, and just the well-roundedness of Corey Sandhagen that befuddled the heavy power striker in Yadong. And there's an argument to say that Sean is well-rounded enough to play the point fighting game and not get into a brawl. O'Malley's never been the guy to try to brawl with his opponents, because every time he does, he usually gets hurt or dropped or faints away from it. He does not find his way into a fight that isn't on his own terms, meaning fighting from the outside, power striking at opportunistic moments, and countering his opponents when they rush in. That's who he is. The fight that plays out for me is the fight that Song loses regularly against better fighters, better strikers, more well-rounded fighters. And I have this inkling that Sean isn't unaware of his circumstances. He knows if he gets a win, he gets the ability to fight for a title. And I think he's going to try to make a point. And I think that's going to play to his disadvantage, where he's going to put himself in a position to try to excite the fans, put his name out there as the top bantamweight, and get caught. I think he's going to put himself in a dangerous position and not just win a decision. He's going to try to get the finish, and he's going to try to do it drastically and recklessly. And I think that's when Song's going to catch him and either bludgeon him to death, or he's going to put him on his ass, and it's going to be a bad fight for him. So I'm going to take Song Yadong, and it's going to be a third round knockout.
Ooh, I like it. Spicy. I don't think I gave my take, so I'll just be very brief. But like I said, I think this one's a lot closer than many are portraying, especially online. I think that Song is fast. He hits pretty fucking hard, and he's no slouch in the grappling department either. There's years of time that he has spent at Team Alpha Male have given him a solid wrestling base, and he doesn't often get credit for that. He doesn't get credit for a lot of things, but on the other side of the pillow, O'Malley he's seemingly slipping in my eyes. He seems to kind of be falling off. Now, whether that's mental blockage or physical decline, that remains yet to be seen. But today's Sugar Sean doesn't carry the same mystique as the one from yesteryear. So regardless, I still think he's going to be just a little bit too slick and a little bit too slippery to have his record penetrated by Yadong. So give me O'Malley via decision, regretfully.
So many jokes.
Well, that at the end of the jokes, we got more jokes to come because, guys, it's time now for the final fight of the day, the final fight of UFC 324. It is the much debated main event, and this one goes down in the lightweight division. And someplace, somewhere, in a smoky bar room in the south of Spain at an establishment that is lenient on shirt buttons but strict on pronunciations with a lisp. The current the current lightweight champion, Ilia Topuria, he sits smoking a genuine hand-rolled cigar. He sips a fine wine and he ponders to himself the future of his fighting career. Across the globe, in the arid desert of Nevada, two different men are also pondering the future of their fighting careers as they touch down on the hot tarmac of Harry Reid International Airport. The first is a gunslinger from days gone by, a relic of a dying era when men went to birthday parties with dictators and threatened retirement if they weren't rewarded title shots. Justin Gaethje, a 26-5 career record that includes 19 knockouts, 9 UFC wins, and an interim championship. Entering Saturday at 37 years of age, he's seen wars with some of the toughest names of the sport from multiple generations. After decisioning Rafael Fiziev in March of last year, he'll hope to end an 11-month layoff with another interim strap and not end an illustrious career with a loss to a Scouser. That Scouser is a 23-3 promotional darling on a 9-fight tear with 5 of his 7 wins in the UFC coming via finish. His name is Paddy Pimblett, and rest assured, Dana and company would love nothing more than to kick off the Paramount era with the baddie as a belt holder. The 31-year-old looks poised to achieve just that, as bookmakers everywhere list him as a moderate favorite at minimum. Another party with vested interest that has yet to be named, a certain Team No Special, who very wisely retained the services of Mr. Pimblett as his holdover selection in this year's fantasy draft. One would surmise that not only are you chasing a championship win, but also a finish and likely a bonus. So, Austin, how confident are you that your guy gets it done? Give it to us.
Okay. So, the thing that kind of plays in my mind, not because they're similar fighters or are in the same position, is the fight that Paddy Pimblett had with Michael Chandler and just the ease of which he was able to just bulldoze over a shop-worn but still somewhat capable Michael Chandler, and just the viciousness of the ground and pound that he was able to unleash on said Chandler. And, you know, Chandler saw the top. He saw the top. He saw Paddy Pimblett on top, raining down destruction from above. And if I can say this confidently, I think Justin is not at the top of his game. He's not the best fighter of the two anymore. I think he's behind a lot of the sense, like how Dustin Poirier found his opportunities, kind of shown capability, but was ultimately bested. I think this is going to be a similar case where Paddy Pimblett is young, capable, and still learning. Justin can't do that anymore. Justin is limited to what he is, and he is your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. He's the guy that goes out there, leaves it all on the line, come back with your shield or on it type guy. And that's fine. Most of us appreciate Justin for that. I think Paddy is going to be the type to allow the fight to play out most like your typical, championship fight. There's going to be a feeling out process in the first round, maybe some exchanges that lead to some scrambles, some defensive grappling from Gaethje, and some, offensive cage moments from, Paddy Pimblett. And then it starts to become clear that Paddy's much bigger, much stronger. Even if he does get clipped, he's got a chin. And in the second round, it goes his way. Basically one-sided throughout the round. And then in the third, he unleashes hell upon Justin, and Justin cannot do anything except find his way to climb up, in which case he gets caught in a submission, and that's all she wrote. I'm going to look for a third-round submission from Paddy Pimblett, and it's not going to be competitive because he's not going to allow it. There's going to be moments of contention, but I think the way Paddy's going to be looking at this fight is, I need to figure out what to do to get to him, and I'm not going to let it go. And Justin is incapable of beating better grapplers when the chips are down. Paddy doesn't have the striking acumen, but I think Justin's going to be missing a piece of the puzzle just enough to get caught in a thing he probably shouldn't be. And this is probably going to be his last ride. I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett. And I'm going to look for that the championship win bonus, and I'm going to look for the the bonus he's going to get because the UFC just loves throwing money at Paddy Pimblett for
Oh
some
yeah.
reason. So I
Oh
might as well just share the spoils in that. So yeah, I'll take Paddy Pimblett submission third. Why not? I have him. This is the reason why I chose him. And if he doesn't, he's dead to me.
Oh, I think that's a logical selection. I think that there's going to be a lot of bettors out there that are going to have money on exactly that scenario and that situation. And I also think that our guy DangerMouse is probably going to be very well prepared for this one. I think he's going to be well studied and have his thoughts in order for this main event. So because of that, I'm going to go second here and just get my thoughts out of the way. There does exist a world where Paddy does what Paddy does, where he walks straight at Justin, chin in the air, and he catches a fucking giant right hook or something like that sends him crumpling to the canvas. In this scenario, Gagey, he gets his hand raised. Ali Abdelaziz cries a fucking singular tear, and then Justin drops the belt a week later, and he rides off into the sunset regardless, like even if he wins. So in that scenario, I think that we're left with a vacant lightweight title that makes things more confusing than ever. So I hope that doesn't happen. Unfortunately for us, I don't see that happening. Paddy he's fucking a big dude for lightweight. Let's just say it like it is. He's a big dude for lightweight. He's a strong dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very capable grappler. And that sounds an awful lot like Justin's kryptonite, because what is Justin's fucking Achilles heel? Having his back taken and getting choked out. So yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. That's going to be my prediction. Paddy Pimblett wins the interim 155-pound championship. And honestly, I was kind of thinking third as well, but I'll push it a little bit later. I'll go with a 4th round submission win for Paddy Pimblett. So eat shit, Austin. Eat shit.
Oh, fuck you.
All right. Oh, like I said, that leaves just DangerMouse here to round us out and give his takes. And I was saying it earlier, DangerMouse, nobody could force you to pick against or for an Englishman, but maybe in this case, you want to, just for the sake of giving Austin the shaft, huh? But either way, Gagey clearly is a live dog here. He's got seemingly a massive advantage in the striking. He can kick like a mule, and he's fighting with everything to lose. If he doesn't pull this off, he swears he's laying down the gloves for good. So a cornered dog is a dangerous dog. Can Justin pull off one more highlight, or does Paddy make an uglier scene than he did when bringing up Mama Hooker?
Oh, Jesus.
Well, the one thing we know about Justin Gaethje is that it won't be a dull fight. Austin mentioned it. He's the fighter's favorite fighter, and of all the fighters and all the nicknames, Justin the Highlight Gaethje is probably the most appropriate one ever, and he's probably my favorite fighter too. And I'm going to be a little sad when he's gone, which may or may not be Saturday night, as he has mentioned retiring. He has said he only cares about getting a title now, and I do think there's a very real chance he'll walk away if he loses this fight, and he will happily play many, many rounds of golf because that's what he loves doing outside of the cage. Previously, I've heard people talking about his low kicks, but the truth is, and it seems to be the way of the leg kicker, that they don't throw them as often as they used to. Once they get older, another prolific leg kicker, Jose Aldo, he just stopped throwing them. And I think Edson Barboza has slowed down quite a bit on them too. So, and also Justin, he's never really been a flatline KO kind of guy. He's more accumulated damage. He gets you hurt, gets you up against the cage, and then just wails on you. And then onto Paddy. We'll jump onto Paddy now. Paddy Pimblett is, of course, English. I mean, he's a Scouser, but we do count those too. He's had an interesting journey to get a title shot, and he has lots of haters talking about the age of his last few opponents. And if he wins this fight, he'll probably get that again, because this is a 37-year-old Justin Gaethje, who's obviously not in his prime any longer. And I've listened to a few of Paddy's recent interviews, and he does seem to want to do the man dance with Justin Gaethje, which could be a very dangerous game plan, especially with, as you mentioned, how high he likes to leave his chin. But he has said that he's been doing a lot of training with Luke Riley recently, and I'm hoping that might have corrected at least a little bit some of that bad habit, because Luke Riley, another one of my draft picks, is a fantastic striker. So
yes.
Yeah, I mean, the easy, in quotations, if you like, way of winning is to take Justin Gaethje's back and just choke him out. But Paddy's himself has said it won't go past 3, maybe even a second round TKO. And that's the way I'm heading, either a second or third round TKO. I'm not going to go with submission. I think that we might see an ending very similar to as we did with Michael Chandler, with Paddy in mount just raining 12 sixes down on Justin's head.
Oh, my.
And yeah, it shouldn't be a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone who listened to the draft that I'm picking Paddy, because I said Paddy would have been on my team if Austin hadn't kept hold of him. So yeah, easy one for me. A fine win for Paddy and a lead for Austin in the draft, but not from the
Yeah.
Dang, that is all of us picking unanimously against Justin Gaethje. I did see some support for Gaethje in the chat, and I wanted to also point out the one message from DJ Serenity now, who said Justin looks like his kryptonite is a night at Dave and Buster's. that got me pretty good. I was trying not to lose it. That's solid there. That's good stuff.
Oh, real quick, like 2 years ago, would you have thought Paddy Pimblett would be in this situation?
God, no. God,
no, not really.
I would have thought that they would have wanted him to be, but would I have thought that he would have actually found himself there? No. But it's been pointed out at plenty of times, and I'm not going to go on it here because we're running out of time, but he has had a pretty easy path to get to the title. He hasn't had many obstacles or hurdles to overcome. So I wouldn't have expected him to get here, but they certainly helped him get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have maybe expected him to be where he is actually now, at like number 5, number 6, number 7, but not fighting for the belt, not right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are about to get out of here and go fight for a different belt, because, guys, that's going to just about do it for us cutting up and carrying on. Not because I'm tired of y'all, but because Submission Radio is on and they're live, and it's Dennis's birthday, bitches. So it's been fun as fuck getting together with everyone here live today in the chat. Hopefully you all enjoyed this little switch up as much as we did. Matter of fact, let us know in the comments after this stream, how do you like our preview shows? Live to your pie hole, or premieres with Chaudhry's slick edits? Let us know. Let us know what you guys think. Either way, if you did like the show, then like the video. We'll be right back here no later than Monday evening at 7 p.m. to recap all the events of UFC 324 and the UFC's debut on Paramount+. So until next time, he's been your boy, Austin. Last words? That's been your homie DangerMouse. Parting shout?
Don't forget to sign up for the Tapology League. There's also one for Morning Combat, and there's also a Morning Combat Discord fantasy draft being arranged at the moment that anyone can play. So jump into one of those and come back for our next show.
That's right. And I will always be that motherfucker LazyBed. We're JBR, and we'll be seeing you. Sub Radio up next. Bye.
Bye. I don't know if you heard Submission Radio coming on there.
I did not, but I'm glad it is.
When Austin started speaking, I suddenly heard it in the background, and I realized I got the page open. But I've got like 20 tabs open or something. It's like, where is it? Oh my god!
Let's go.
Hey, Austin.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. And your pick, Dave.
Points.
Hope you. Fuck you. You're gonna lose.
You should be rooting for it, man.
I don't give a shit.
Up against Mouse. We should be teaming up against Mouse.
Just
oh my god.
We have this bitch.